You're listening to the Homegrown Radio Hour, live on CrescentHillRadio.com. I'm Memphis Beck, and welcome to tonight's show.
Welcome, everybody. Here's Dan Bowlds' new EP.
Wafting cottonwood leaves, 1,000 hands are waving on, swaying gracefully yield without breaking against the soft clouds. My spirit is waking. Wind in my face, caress and embrace a younger time in this place, in this place. Oh, sycamore branches, a chalky perch, oh, wandering soul looking for rest. Well, I know you from ages last. We ran barefoot through the puddles once in the past, playfully soared in this misty breeze, lit atop these lofty trees, hearts innocent and free. Do you remember me? Your saddened spirit now with me, perched in this sycamore tree. Oh, time skewed as it passed, our time now together cannot last. Comfort as you rest, lay your head upon my chest, draw strength from my weathered bones. No use to me when I'm gone, 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 gone. Carry me with you, carry me with you, carry me with you, and we'll never be alone.
Yeah, that was Dan Bowlds from his new EP, and we've got Dan Bowlds and friends live in the studio with us here on the Homegrown Radio Hour tonight. How are you all?
Just fine.
It's great to see you. You had a long drive.
It's about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
But the roads were good, so that was all right.
Good. We got lucky. I was kind of worried about that earlier, but it thawed out.
Yes, it did.
And I have Memphis Beck Gentry here with me co-hosting tonight. It's very good to see you.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
It's been a while, and you know some of these fellas.
I do.
Who else we got here with you, Dan?
Okay, I've got Dan Boone over here on the mandolin. He's played with me quite a bit, and Mike over here, O'Brien on the accordion.
And some of y'all might recognize Memphis Beck and Mike O'Brien, Uncle Fog, we call them. They've been on the show with me here a couple times, and they were actually on for our Christmas show a few weeks ago, which was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
We did have a good time.
Yeah. So, you've been out and about a lot, Dan.
Yeah, I've in the past year I've been doing quite a few shows up here. I put about 60,000 miles on my car, so.
I believe that because I think I see you at least a couple times a week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. And you just put out a CD, and now you've got a new EP.
Yes. I've recorded these things in my home studio, and I use a synthesizer on some of the stuff, and a guitar on the others. There's one that I had a band play with me on it, but the rest of them are pretty much homegrown.
Homegrown, that's what we like.
That's exactly what we like.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to hear one. How about it?
Okay, this first song I'm going to do is called "In the Fields," and I wrote this about probably 5 years ago or so, and it's about when I was growing up as a child on the farm, and there was a lot of chores for us to do, and we had wood and the coal stoves that we cooked and heated on, and I used to have to chop kindling and do stuff like that, and draw the water from the well and stuff like that. So this is a song about that time when I was growing up. It's called "In the Fields."
Dan Bowlds here on the Homegrown Radio Hour.
When I was a boy, about 9 or 10, I had a pocket full of marbles and a big wide grin. Well, the girls would smile when I walked by, but I wouldn't say a thing, 'cause I was too shy. Got off blue jeans and a dusty road. There was wood to chop and tobacco roll. Well, the work was hard, but the times were good. These were the days of my childhood. Sweet were the blossoms that bloomed in the early spring. Oh, cool, cool was the summer breeze, hanging high from a maple tree, way up high in a maple tree. Well, my dad was a farmer, he tilled the land, and my grandpa was a miner, he dug coal with his hands. Well, my great-grandpa built the barn on the hill. Though his days are gone, it's a-standing still. Well, the fields are overgrown now with broom, sage, and thorn, and the wildflowers are blooming where there once grew corn. The hay rakes are leaning on a rusty old wheels. Oh, sometimes I wonder if those times were real. Gone are those days, never to come again, when my dad would stand in the setting sun, admiring the crops on this land. Oh, he was proud of the work he had done. Now time and weary has taken its toll. There's lines on my face, I'm getting old. My sight's growing dim in this evening light, and I'm casting long shadows on the fields of life. My children are grown with families of their own, and Papa tells stories about times that are gone. But I'll give to my children a field of my dreams, full of hope and wildflowers like I've never seen. Oh Lord, I pray, let me live to see the day when my grandchild laughs and runs and plays in these fields where I have slaved, in these fields where I was raised.
Dan Bowlds and friends. Woo, give it up. The audience is going wild. Wow. Sounded good.
Thank you.
Is that a new one?
No, that's I wrote that probably 5 or 6 years ago at least. Yeah.
Is that on the new CD? Or have I just heard you do
that? It's on the one that's got about 15 songs on it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're so glad to have you in the studio tonight, and we were talking a little bit earlier, and I'm curious for you to let the audience, the listening audience, know How did you get started playing music?
Well, I think I inherited it from my granddad, actually. When I was a little kid, we got our first radio when I was about 7. I remember that. And I remember Hank Williams Sr. was singing songs on there, and Kalijah and all those different things. And I would be dancing around up on a couch and, doing flips out on the floor and everything else when that came on. And but my granddad, that's on my mother's side. He was born in 1885, and by 1900 he was playing the fiddle pretty good. And of course, back during that time, there wasn't anything like radios or anything out there, so they had to make their own music. And he would go around on the weekends when they had time, and they would go and would sing and stuff like that. And I can just barely remember him, but because he died when I was about 2 and a half or something like that. And but his influence through my mother, her singing and stuff when I was little, and all that. That's where I got my love for music. And then I got my first guitar when I was in high school and started learning how to play that. And but I've been playing, since high school, and singing, writing songs, some songs. And then I got married, and I got drafted in the service and got married after that. And pretty much, I still played music and stuff, but I didn't really play out like I do now. And so that's how I get my interest in music. But now that I've retired, I've been retired for about 4 years, and I've been coming up a little playing music around here, so really enjoy it.
We enjoy having you. The first time I heard you was, I think, at Church on the Rocks, and I fell in love with you.
Oh, thank you. Well, actually, I started, the first place I played here in Louisville was Stevie Ray's Blues Bar, the open mic there. And I think Tania Sanders was hosting it then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I met Andrea Davidson and Alana Fugate and several other of my friends around Louisville here that I play with.
All good people, and all very fond of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. We love seeing your face showing up at all the various open mics in town, and pretty much count on Dan at least being at Alana's, right, on Monday nights.
Yeah, she was hosting it over at the corner door until they closed, but I used to go to her open mics over at Stevie Ray's, and then she started having them over there, so I started going there. And now she's got one at Barano's in the Highlands, and so she just the second week she's had that. So some of our same old crowd is showing up over there, so that makes me feel good.
Yeah, it's a nice little scene over there, and that starts at 7, I think.
Yeah. The sign up starts at 7, and it goes from it starts at 7. It goes from 7:30 till about 10:30 or so. Yeah.
Whenever people finish.
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to hear another song.
Okay. This next song is called The Little Dirt Road, and I'll have to tell a little story. I always tell little stories about my songs because
we like that.
Yeah, it means something to me, these songs do, because they're experiences. There's a little road that was probably a little wagon trail back in the 1800s during the Civil War. And it was real narrow and just dirt. There wasn't actually any gravel or anything on it. And in the wintertime, they'd have to, one of the fellows that lived on that, old fellow before he died, I talked to him about it, and he said that the ruts would get so deep in the wintertime that, there was only just room for one wagon or car, or whatever it happened to be, an old Model A or something, to go down through those ruts. And if you met somebody on that road, you had to have a shovel, so because one of you is going to have to dig out of the rut to go around it. So that's pretty funny. But that road is still there, but they've paved it, and it's a little wider. But my wife and I live close to that road, and we're building a house on that road, actually. And so we still go walking on that road, and this is a story about that little dirt road.
Dan Bowlds on the Homegrown Radio Hour.
Oh, sometimes I go a-walking down this country road, and it winds through the woods and across the creek to a clearing on the other side. Well, I was here 50 years ago when my life had just begun. Back then I didn't know on this little dirt road where my life would go. At the edge of a field stands an old beech tree. Its limbs are broken down. Well, it's twisted and torn from the summer storms. The branches still laying on the ground. There in its trunk, carved deep, are the names of lovers past. Back when love was new, their hopes still grew. They thought that their love would last. And oh, how I wish I could see them, 'cause I'd ask them just one thing. Well, what do you know from this little dirt road, and where did your love go? Have the storms of life broke your limbs away and left them by your side? Is the love that you knew when this tree first grew still carved deep in your heart? And one day while I was a-walking, there was an old man parked by the road. Well, he was staring out into the field, said he was a-hunting, but his gun lay empty in the back seat, the shells along beside. Said he'd hunted here before, there was game galore back in '34. Well, he pointed to a clump of trees where his childhood cabin stood. He said the '37 flood about floated it away. It was up to the second floor. And he talked about his little sister and how she died there one winter night. It was 20 below. He heard the cold winds blow, and sometimes it just wasn't right. Well, I could see that he was a-hunting, but I don't think it was the game. It was answers to his dreams on this little dirt road and where his life had gone. Have the storms of life broke your limbs away and left them by your side? Have the dreams that you knew when this tree first grew come true in your broken heart? Well, the farmsteads have all been joined now, and the little cabins pushed away, and the smoke-belching diesels now blow their suet where the mule teams used to bray. Though I barely can remember these stories I have told of long-lost dreams on this little dirt road and where the lives have gone. Yes, the storms of life have broke my limbs away and left them by my side. But those bonfires of hope that these trees once knew are still smoldering in my heart.
Yeah, thank you, Dan Bowlds.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they love you. Dan Bowlds and friends, and let's hear a little bit from you guys, Mike, and
very little tonight.
very little tonight. Well, Mike O'Brien is playing the accordion, and it does a very fine job of that. You're kind of a new addition to the Dan Bowlds fan club.
Yes, I am. I too went to the corner door that eventful evening, and Dan asked me to sit in, and it's been great fun.
Yeah, and Dan, you've been playing together for a while. Dan Boone on the mandolin.
At least a year.
Yeah.
Maybe more than a year now.
Yeah, I think you actually started at the corner door too.
Uh-huh.
You were there playing, so.
Yeah.
And so then he started. We started going over to the farmers market, playing there and different places, playing some shows.
Douglas Loop Farmers Market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great farmers market, and they have live music every single Saturday when they're open. I guess they're not quite ready to open yet. It's a little chilly out there.
Yeah.
Well, I think they add a great deal to your sound.
Yes, they do.
And really, it's always nice when you're playing and you have people helping you out.
Sure is.
And
yes.
making you sound just extra good.
Covers up your mistakes too.
We won't go there. I have another question for you, though. On the songs you write, some writers, they lock themselves in a room and swear they'll never leave until, they've written 10 songs. I knew of a guy that wrote songs when he was chained to a piano, flying in an airplane, all kinds of things like that. So, what's your theory on songwriting? How do you go about that?
Well, the kind of songwriting I do, this is my experience, is that I can't really be under pressure. I have to have a free spirit to write. And sometimes, and this has happened, I wake up in the middle of the night, like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, with this tune in my head, or some piece of a lyric, and I'll have to, I keep a pad and pencil beside my bed. And sometimes I've got one of those little voice recorders, but it's high quality, and I can take that and just record the melody so I won't forget it. And then
Those things are fantastic.
Yeah,
they really are.
And I usually just store those things along with some nature sounds. A lot of my songs is kind of my trademark. I put actually recorded sounds of hoot owls or robins or bluebirds, different ones.
I've noticed that some
coyotes.
of your music will open with bird sounds.
And coyotes.
I
And
love
those are
that.
actually the ones that I've recorded around home there. So.
Well, your music is very totally infused with nature and the land and place. And being a geographer, I really appreciate that about you. And it just comes through your whole being. You radiate that. You remind me a lot of Wendell Berry when I was reading your blog last night. I think you two have a kinship in the way you view the environment and some of the rough stuff that's going on in the world these days. And
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking to see the mountaintop removal and different things like that going on. Of course, I grew up in a country like that, and we depended upon, the crops and the farm and the animals. I mean, we had chickens, and we ate the eggs, and we did, kill the chickens, but they had a pretty good life up until the time they did that. So, and they didn't know what happened, so, Yeah.
Right.
So I really do appreciate, nature, and we need to really get back to the garden, what I think.
Yeah, we do. Speaking of mountaintop removal, I want to remind folks that I Love the Mountains Day is coming up in Frankfurt on February 14th, Valentine's Day, and there's a lot of free transportation. If you're interested in going, you can get on Facebook and just look up I Love the Mountains Day, and you'll see Unitarian Church has got a bus going. I think Unity's got a bus going, and it's a great event. It's very important to support our precious resources here in the state, what we've got left of them. Yeah. So, Dan Bowlds and friends, we would love to hear another song.
Okay, I'm going to do one that I wrote about the Ohio River. Actually, it's for all the river folks that work on the river, the captains and crew of the towboats on the rivers. It's called Muddy Old Water, and I knew a fellow that was a captain on a towboat, and I talked to him for a while and got some input on how this is. Yeah, and we got some good input on this, so it's called Muddy Old Water.
Dan Bowlds and friends here in the Homegrown Radio Hour on CrescentHillRadio.com.
There are rivers in this heartland, like veins to the heart, carrying coal and oil and grain to our most vital parts. Well, there's the Mississippi, the Ohio, the Tennessee, and the Green. And there's the Monongahela, the Missouri, and everything in between. From New Orleans to St. Paul, to St. Louis, to Pittsburgh, there are folks out on these rivers, though they're seldom heard. They'll be rigged up in Cairo with 15 barges in tow, carrying 45 million pounds of bituminous coal. And it's 900 miles from Cairo to Pittsburgh. We're pushing 2,000 miles of water. Mighty old diesels that keep on chugging. Can't you hear them engines a-tugging? She's a-pushing this load upstream. Big old prop screws that keep on turning, muddy old water I keep on churning. She's a-pushing this load upstream. We've been out here on this river for 28 days, 6 hours on, 6 hours off, through the fog and the haze. Well, this river, she is my mistress, second only to my wife. Been out here on this river, been out here all my life. Oh, there's danger on this river, there's peril around the bend. Well, little Joe White, he slipped on the gunnel, he slipped, he fell in. Diesels that keep on chugging. Can't you hear them engines a-tugging? She's a-pushing this load upstream. Big old prop screws that keep on turning, muddy old water I keep on churning. She's a-pushing this load upstream. Well, there's a smell upon this river of catfish and gar, and there's the dead still pools, the quick water, the channels and the sandbars. I've stood on the bow of the tow, I heard the water slipping below, seen the moon dancing on the river, heard the lonesome foghorns blow. And I've grown to love this life, though missing my kids and wife. I'll stand proud at the helm and with my crew, bring her in the port tonight.
All right, Dan Bowlds and friends, Dan Boone, Michael Bryan. I really love that song. Any song about rivers, rivers and trains.
Well, I grew up around the river there. I saw those. I even saw paddle wheels going up and down there when I was a kid. You know.
Yeah, you live on the west coast of Kentucky. I mean,
it's a long coast too. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a long coast. I have another good friend that's from around that area. Hawesville's where you're from,
Yes,
right, Dan?
Yeah.
And Hawesville's famous for burgoo, aren't they?
Sorghum molasses.
Oh,
Hancock
sorghum.
County. Hancock
Okay,
County.
okay.
Now, yeah, Owensboro is the burgoo and mud. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know, because I've been to a festival there. Is it the sorghum
Yeah, they
festival?
used to have a sorghum festival. I think they still do, yeah.
My grandmother took me there when I was a little. I love that kind of thing. And I love sorghum.
Yeah, it's good.
A lot of people don't even know what it is.
I know it, yeah.
You want to tell them?
Well, it's made from sorghum cane. It's like a sugar cane, only it's a little darker. And we actually had to raise some sorghum one time and cook some. You know, they have this big pan and you cut this cane down. You strip it first, and then you cut it by hand, and then you gather it all up, and then it goes through a mill. It squeezes the juice out of it, and then you take this juice, which is usually green and sticky, and then put it in his pan and cook it, and it gets a golden brown.
Cook it down to
Yeah,
syrup.
and it's really good.
Yeah, I've seen photographs of people making sorghum when they used to use the mules to
Well, that's what
to
we
press
did. Yeah.
it. Yeah, and they'd turn around that
Yeah.
big wheel thing.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and sorghum is really good with butter on biscuits.
Yeah. It is.
So that's my word to the wise.
Well, you know, they use sorghum in Cracker Jacks. You know.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't ever heard of sorghum, check it out. If you go into any old grocery store in Kentucky, you're going to see it. And if you like sweet stuff that's full of iron, it's really good.
Right,
good
health-wise,
sweetener.
it's good for people with anemia. So
Yeah.
if you have problems with iron count, it's one of the food sources
Right,
for iron instead of taking iron tablets.
right. We need to get back to the old ways, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
You have a song, something like that, don't you? Something about getting back to the.
Oh, that's Tom Boone.
Oh, that's Tom Boone.
Yeah. But yeah, my songs are.
I knew
reflect
I'd
lot-
make a
yeah.
faux pas
No,
eventually.
that's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been trying to
Tom
call
and I
Dan
have a lot-
Tom.
Yeah,
all night.
we have a lot in common. You know.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And Tom was on this show not too long ago, a month or so ago.
I have
He's
a
a country
question
boy.
for you.
Sure.
When's your next gig here in town? So tell the listening
the
audience.
Shine Wellness Studio. I'll be playing barefooted down there.
All right.
Let's see, it's February the 7th, I think. It's on a Thursday.
And Shine Wellness Studios on East Market Street in the Nulu area. And is it just a music event in the evening? Or is it a yoga thing?
Well, no, I'll be playing music, and they do other things there.
Yeah, they do so much there.
Yeah, so.
It's a great place too. If folks don't know about it, here in Louisville, it's kind of a multi-purpose space on East Market Street called Shine, and they do yoga classes there, and they do all kinds of stuff, Tai Chi, they just anything, and they'll let the community use the room, I think, for a small fee and for meetings or whatever. Yeah, it's a great place, and that's Thursday.
It's on a Thursday, yeah.
And then you've got CDs on Reverb Nation, right?
Yes.
Or digital downloads.
Yeah, I got digital download for free right now.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Check.
not all of them, but some of them.
Uh-huh.
I just do that occasionally, and I've also got them on SoundCloud.
And then, do you post your gigs on Facebook, or do you have a website?
I have a music page on Facebook, which links to Reverb Nation. I have my show schedule on the Reverb Nation.
It's on Reverb Nation.
Yes.
So if folks want to check you out at Shine and figure out what Thursday that is.
It's the 7th. I'm pretty
The
sure.
7th,
Yeah,
okay, of February.
Yeah.
And then folks can always, I think, almost always catch at Alana's open mic.
Yeah,
On Mondays.
I missed very few of those.
And occasionally at Church on the Rocks,
Yeah.
which is at the Monkey Wrench on Sunday evenings
Right.
at 8 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a shout out to some of my fans that
Please
are listening.
do.
Okay. Here in Louisville, I think Rebecca Kessler, Nancy.
Hey, Rebecca.
Yes.
Uncle Slayton's?
Yeah, and Tom Boone. He's in Lebanon Junction, but it's around this area. Alex Peterson and Charles Price.
They'll be on soon.
Yes, and Kenesha Thompson. And from Owensboro area, I have Arnie Weiner, Jennifer Lawson, Rick Moore from Central City, Heath and Molly Eric in Allen, Kentucky. And in Nashville, some of my relatives are Bonnie and Gary Roberts, Jason and Melissa Roberts, Sherry and Randy Harris. And then I have some friends up in New York, Jasmine and Dan Wooster in Long Island, Helen and William Humphreys in Norwalk, Connecticut, Eddie and Joni Birch, which are from Louisville, if they're in Florida right now, they're going to be listening. Alyssa and Ian in Stockholm, Sweden.
Wow.
Yeah.
We love hearing that.
Yeah, and David Rice from Seattle, Washington, and a friend of mine from Louisville that's out in Portland, Oregon right now is Peter Klein.
Peter Klein. Well, Dan Bowlds, I'm going to ask your friends if they will check us out on Facebook and make sure you like the Homegrown Radio Hour page, Crescent Hill Radio Hour page, and check out our website at crescenthillradio.com. We are a nonprofit community radio station, 501c3, and we do depend on the community for support. And there's a lot of ways to give that you can find on our website. We have a PayPal account set up, so you can donate right there online if you like. We welcome business sponsorships. You can sponsor a show, or you can sponsor the entire station. And we will be launching a capital campaign in April that will finish off with a big fundraiser that we found out yesterday is going to be at Expo 5. So I'd like to give a shout out to the Expo 5 folks for letting us use the space. They're donating the space to us for free. We'll have 2 stages going simultaneously, a large main stage for bands, and then the smaller room will have solo, duo, acoustic type acts. And we're really excited about that. And we hope folks will turn out in large numbers. And that's the Sunday before Derby. And we don't have a lineup nailed down yet, but that'll be coming out soon. And we'll be putting out more information about that as we confirm it. So shout out to the Expo 5 folks for making that happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say I'm glad to be here tonight as co-host, and I'm glad Christy asked me. I think the Crescent Hill Radio does a lot for local and regional musicians, and we're very fortunate to have that here. There's very few places that have any such thing as that anymore.
Yeah, I really don't think there's any radio station out there that is just focused on local and regional music, and that is our focus. So we kind of consider ourselves a musician's station. I think a whole lot of our listeners are musicians, and we wouldn't be here without you all. So, we certainly appreciate the musicians that support us and come in here and donate their talent and time, and
it's an honor.
we love it.
Glad to be here.
And it's an honor for me to be here. And it's an honor to have Becky Gentry as my co-host. Jeez.
And we're all having a good time in the studio tonight. So
that's right.
We hope you've tuned in and listened to all the great tunes. And as a matter of fact, I think you got another tune picked out for us, Dan?
Yes, I do.
All
and
right.
This one's called Working in the Coal Mine. And my granddad, among other things, back in the Depression, they had to do about whatever they could to make a living. So he operated a little coal mine, and it was actually on the farm there that I own now. And but he was back in there working one day, and the thing fell in on him and pinned him back in there about 100 feet back under the ground, and from the waist down. And he struggled all day. He finally dug himself out after about 8 hours of digging, and he was completely exhausted when he got out, but he did get out. But there have been, there are coal mines in western Kentucky, and it's not limited to eastern Kentucky. We have one in Seabury that there was a mine accident here a few years ago, and some people got killed in that. And of course, there's been coal mines over in West Virginia and eastern Kentucky too that had some bad accidents and things. So I wrote this song for all the coal miners and people that risk their lives every day to make a living for their family and support their family, go through all kind of health risks for black lungs and all that sort of thing. And it's called Working in the Coal Mine.
Dan Bowlds on the Homegrown Radio Hour.
Well, I get up in the morning before the sun starts to shine. I'm going down to Seabury, working in the coal mine, working in the coal mine. Now my daddy and my granddaddy was a working here before me, working in this coal mine to feed the family, working in the coal mine. Well, the roof has been a leaking and the walls are crumbling in.
might never see sunshine again, 'cause I'm working in the coal mine. Just trying to make another dime, working in the coal mine, living on borrowed time, working in the coal mine. So I'm working in the coal mine, underground, working in the coal mine, way down, working in the coal mine. Well, this black dust is a choking, and I can hardly breathe. Mine is dark and damp, and I can barely see. It's working in the coal mine. A miner has to be tough, a miner has to be strong. A miner's life is hard, well, he won't live for long. He's working in the coal mine. Well, the roof has been a leaking, and the walls are crumbling in. Might never see the sunshine again, 'cause I'm working in the coal mine. Just trying to make another dime, working in the coal mine, living on borrowed time, working in the coal mine, working in the coal mine, underground, working in the coal mine, way down, working in the coal mine. Then one Sunday morning, a 9:15, the ground started shaking, and smoke poured out of the mine, from deep in the coal mine. The 3 miners were trapped in the south fork of the mine. Their shaft was crushed, running out of time, deep in the coal mine. Well, the roof had been a leaking, and the walls came caving in. They'll never see the sunshine again, 'cause they're trapped in the coal mine. Just trying to make another dime, working in the coal mine, living on borrowed time, working in the coal mine. Now they're buried in the coal mine, underground, buried in the coal mine, way down, buried in the coal mine.
Yeah, Dan Bowlds and Friends here on the Homegrown Radio Hour. Another song that really gets into my heart. I don't think a lot of people realize that there are homegrown coal mines still in existence. Not just here in Kentucky, but there seems to be a lot more of them in western Kentucky than anywhere else I'm aware of. And what I mean by that is people that were fortunate enough to hold on to their land and not get robbed by the broad form deed and all that kind of stuff, sometimes dug their own coal, and these are small little non-mechanized mines that Dan's talking about. It's not like there's a train track that's going in there and a lot of heavy equipment. They're actually hand dug for the most part,
Yeah.
and reinforced with timbers found around the land. So yeah, you know, coal is a sticky subject.
Yes, it is.
But
We wouldn't be broadcasting here if we didn't have electricity.
That's-
And a lot of the
that's
coal around
right.
here comes from, all the electricity comes from coal around here, a lot of it.
a lot of it does.
Yeah.
But
As long as they do it in a responsible way. I
a
think it's
responsible way,
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, but blasting the tops off of mountains doesn't
know.
seem very responsible to me. So, yeah, support I Love the Mountains Day if you can. Kentuckians for the Commonwealth is a great organization to get involved with if you're interested in learning more about mountaintop removal. Becky, did you have something you want to talk about?
I do. I want to know what your guitar is.
Yeah, what the heck is that?
It's
what is
a
that?
Washburn Cumberland.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I got this actually. I bought it off the web, but it came from a music store in Arkansas, and he had these this inlay, this Vine of Life inlay, put in their specials.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Folks, some folks I think are watching on Ustream. They may be able to see what we're talking about. It's
Yeah.
just finely inlaid and beautiful. It looks like is that maple?
Yeah, it's curly maple on the sides and back. And yeah, it's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
It's one of my best guitars.
And it sounds very nice.
Thank you.
You are getting fan mail.
Hmm?
You're getting fan mail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Annie Weiner.
Oh, yeah, Arnie. Yeah, he's down
Oh,
the
Arnie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hi, Arnie.
Arnie said, Dan, I'm sitting here listening to you streaming live from Crescent Hill Radio's Homegrown Radio Hour. It sounds fantastic, and the backup artists who've supported you did so beautifully. I look forward to continuing to enjoy your music and at times share the joy with you as you continue to grow in your popularity.
Yeah, he's hosted an open mic down in Owensboro with me.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, he's a good songwriter in his own right.
Well, here at the studio at Crescent Hill Radio, we're always looking for new music, and we welcome music from places outside of Louisville. We're not all about Louisville, as we are testifying to tonight with Dan on the show. Dan's from Hawesville, Kentucky, almost 2-hour drive away. And we want that music from Owensboro and eastern Kentucky and western Kentucky and the west coast of Kentucky. And even beyond. We'll even reach out to those folks in Nashville. Yeah, even them.
A lot of them down there came from Kentucky, you know.
That's right. That's very true.
And since there is that capacity and people are listening to it being live streamed currently, and if you have a request that you know that Dan has written and plays, and we've got a few more minutes, so we'd also like to hear another tune from Dan. And then if you can, send it in, and he'll be glad to do it.
Yeah, that's right. Just shoot an email to Christy@CrescentHillRadio.com or post it on Crescent Hill Radio's Facebook page if you want to hear a certain song, if you have any requests. Dan Bowlds, we'd love to hear you again.
Okay. Let's see. I think I want to do one song that these guys, this is one of my new songs that I just finished actually about 2 weeks ago. It's called Cumberland Mountain Bluebird. Now, I had my wife and I went down to the Cumberland Gap this past summer, and we've been visiting Lookout Mountains down at Gatlinburg and over to Natural Bridge, and we even went to the Garden of Gods in Illinois, which has some beautiful scenery there too. But the mountains just take my breath away. I love the mountains, and I wrote this song. There's also we have bluebird boxes around our house, and the little bluebirds they build in them. And if you've ever heard a bluebird sing, and on my record there, I've actually got recordings of the bluebirds, but they sound like they're talking. So this song is about a little bluebird who was talking to me while I was up on the mountains.
Dan Bowlds and friends here on the Homegrown Radio Hour.
Up in the Cumberland Mountains, I climbed high up on the ridge. I looked down into the valley to the river below. The sun was low on the mountain, long shadows streaked the hill. The valley looked so peaceful, the river looked so still. The wind in the pine tree beside me was whispering such a mournful tone, and a solitary little bluebird, she was singing along. Oh, Cumberland Mountain Bluebird, singing so sweetly. Cumberland Mountain Bluebird, tell me your story. She talked of Grandpa and his singing in the peaceful valley below. Fledgling days in the garden, just watching tomatoes grow. Dark cloud came over the valley, storms raged, and with her mom she flew right over the mountain, just looking for a new home. Settled in a dark hollow where the sun seldom shines, and all of town's people were working in the gold mine. Oh, Cumberland Mountain bluebird, singing so sweetly. Cumberland Mountain bluebird, tell me your story. Her times in the hollow were dark because she and the people couldn't see her pretty blue wings in the blackness, and she couldn't fly so free. So she set her mind to the singing, such sweet melody, and all the people around her could hear her beauty. But in time her heart grew restless, and with her blue wings she did fly to the bright lights of the city to start a new life. Oh, Cumberland Mountain bluebird, singing so sweetly. Cumberland Mountain bluebird, I'll tell you my story. Oh, little bluebird, I must confess, I came to this mountain to get some rest. Well, I've been searching and wandering my whole life through, searching for something just the same as you. Well, I climbed this mountain from the other side. The path was steep, was a rough ride. My heart broke through jagged rocks. Sometimes I even thought it was gonna stop. Now we're both here on this mountain top. Well, I climbed uphill and you flew miles and miles, but still ahead of you. It is love that I hear in your sweet melody. Seek love, make that your quest. In love, find happiness. Oh, Cumberland Mountain bluebird, singing so sweetly. Cumberland Mountain bluebird, let love set you free.
Yeah, another beautiful song by Dan Bowlds.
Thank you.
All of the music you've been hearing tonight by Dan was written by Dan, and we love it very much. I was chatting with a friend on Facebook the other day over these photographs I took of this huge black vulture that swooped down in front of me on Frankfort Avenue all alone, and it was kind of a weird thing. I've never seen a black vulture alone, and I've never seen one right in urban Louisville. So anyway, it sparked a lot of discussion on Facebook, and a friend of mine, Martha Bell, said, well, here's a question. If you were a bird, what kind of bird would you be? My answer was a red-tailed hawk or an osprey, or I tend to gravitate toward those birds. What about you? What
Me?
would you be?
I'd have to be a songbird. Of some kind, yeah.
A bluebird?
Well, maybe, or a mockingbird,
Or a mockingbird.
Yeah, I love the little songbirds.
Yeah, me too. Love them. And bluebirds are just phenomenal. We don't see them here in the city much because people don't build bluebird boxes.
Well, they're they feed on stuff different than a lot of the other birds. So there's been a family of bluebirds out there ever since I built the house about 13 years ago.
Wow, you're
And,
lucky.
Yeah, and so we encourage them. So we build little bluebird boxes and things for them to come.
Bluebirds of happiness.
Yeah.
Well, here it is. It's January. It's after the holidays, and a lot of times everybody kind of gets a little letdown.
Mm-hmm.
People that already had some issues about the holidays. Actually, this time even seems more that way, but it's inspiring to be in the studio with you guys. I'm having a good time. It inspires me because I do know that spring is coming and there's more music coming.
Well, we sure hope we brighten up your cold, dark winter days a little bit. And in case you don't know, if you're listening live right now and you missed part of the show, you can find us on YouTube tomorrow. Will be the Ustream video will be posted there, and SoundCloud version of the show will also be posted. And we keep those up in our archives on the webpage at CrescentHillRadio.com for a couple of weeks, and then we have to rotate them out for new shows. So check it out if you missed any of the show, and please pass the word about Crescent Hill Radio and about Dan Bowlds and the wonderful music he's making. You can find him probably next Monday night at Alana Fugate's open mic there at Beer Nose in the Highlands. Also want to let you know a couple folks who are playing around. Alana is playing tonight, Alana Fugate at Mellow Mushroom. That starts at 10 o'clock. Mellow Mushroom is a pizza joint in St. Matthews. I haven't been there yet, but I've heard good things about it. Relic, an awesome band, is playing at the Monkey Wrench tonight. That starts at 9. Tomorrow night, the White Russians at the Dark Star Tavern. That's a late show, as always, 10 o'clock. And the Pranksters at 10 o'clock at Mellow Mushroom. And that's a new open stage at the Rudd, also tomorrow night. And that starts at 7:30. Speaking of the Rudd, I want to give a shout-out to Ken and Sheila Pyle. We really appreciated Ken coming on the show with Beck and Mike for the Christmas show a few weeks back, and we hope y'all are doing well. We loved having you here, and we thank you so much. I want to thank our listeners and all those folks you've brought to the station tonight. Some of them may be listening for the first time, and we hope you'll tune in on a regular basis and spread the word about Crescent Hill Radio, and send us your music if you have it. Also want to thank our listeners and our sponsors, Miss C's Kitchen, or Miss C's on, what are they called now? Miss C's on Chestnut. Just lost my sound. Miss C's on Chestnut and our other sponsor, the Wiltshire Market. Thank you so much for sponsoring the Homegrown Radio Hour. We do appreciate it. And Dan, you want to close the show with one more song? You have another one?
Yeah, I can surely do that. You want to try? I'll try a cover song this time, since we can do those.
That will work.
This is near and dear to me. This song, it's done by the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band when I was a young man, and I used to think about my great uncle when I heard this song, but I think I've turned into this guy over the years. So it's called Mr. Bojangles.
Dan Bowlds here on the Homegrown Radio Hour, and stay tuned for Flies on the Wall. Good night.
Well, I knew a man, Bojangles, and he danced for you. Worn-out shoe, it's silver hair and a ragged shirt and baggy pants. He'd do the soft shoe Jump so high, jump so high. Then he lightly touched down. Well, I met him in a cell down in New Orleans. I was down and out, and he looked to me to be the very eyes of age. As he spoke right out, and he talked of life, talked of life. Laughed and slapped his leg a lick. Well, he said his name was Bojangles, and he danced a spell across the cell. Grabbed his pants, took a better stance, and he jumped up high. And he clicked his heels, let go alive, let go alive. Shook back his clothes all around. Mr. Bojangle, Mr. Bojangle, Mr. Bojangle, won't you dance? Well, he talked about the times he worked the minstrel show right the South, and he talked with tears of 15 years with his little dog. How he traveled about with his dog up and died, up and died. After 20 years he still grieves. Well, he said I dance now every chance in honky-tonk, drinks and tips. Most of the time I spend behind these county bars, 'cause I drinks a bit. He shook his head, shook his head. Someone said please, oh please, Mr. Bojangle, Mr. Bojangle, Mr. Bojangle, won't you dance? Ah, dance. Won't you dance?
Thank y'all a lot. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here. And thank all you people for listening.
Great show. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.